Joining the show, Detroit Country Day High School All-American and former Notre Dame and NFL wide receiver, Javin Hunter. Javin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on.
Well, we're glad to have you on. Your high school career was kind of like a fairy tale book. What you did in high school was absolutely incredible. So in 1995, 1996, and 1997, you win basketball state championships at Detroit Country Day. You played with a guy by the name of Shane Battier, and I watched those games in 1996 and 1997. You were the best player on the floor. I believe in those championship games, you averaged about 22 points a game. I got highlights of you dunking, throwing no-look passes, just an incredible performance. You were a high school All-American in basketball. And then in football at Detroit Country Day, you guys win the state championship in 1995. You're a Parade and USA Today All-American in football. You did just about everything. You're a top 30 recruit in the country coming out of high school. Can you just talk to me about your career at Detroit Country Day and a little bit about high school sports and just how special that is?
Man, I appreciate that introduction. I forgot about all that stuff, man, trying to follow my sons around. But, man, high school was fun. Country Day, we had just a great athletic program, during those days. I think they're trying to get it back. But back then, we were a powerhouse, man. Obviously, you mentioned Shane. Shane was ahead of the stake on the basketball court, and we just try to follow his lead. I got to give Shane his credit, man. Shane was like I mean, an adult as a kid, right? I mean, he had a 4.0. He would pull the coach at the end of practice, and I'm watching this, pull the coach at the end of practice and get extra shots up. I mean, he was a pro in high school, so I tried to follow him, and I was able to have some success on the basketball court. I was obviously extremely motivated and played basketball since first grade. So that was my best sport, in my opinion, and my favorite sport. And then, follow my dad's lead on the football field, trying to emulate him. And, obviously my father played for the Lions for 7 seasons, and, just wanted to be like him, and wanted to play the game of football. He wouldn't let me play until ninth grade. And, I played a lot of soccer growing up, and I really attribute that to the success I had in football, just the foot speed and being able to run, and then the catching and the athletic ability just was God given, and just, DNA. And so, we're able to have some success, and it was fun. My time at Country Day was fun. I mean, we had a lot of success, and we had a great time doing it.
You sure did. Javin, after high school, you live out every kid's fantasy, at least where I grew up, and you ran out of that tunnel and you played football for the Fighting Irish. And you didn't just run out of that tunnel. You had a great career at Notre Dame. As a matter of fact, in 2001, you led the team in receiving yards and receptions. You also played basketball at Notre Dame for a little while. I think people may forget that, but you were a basketball player at Notre Dame as well. Just talk to me about your time at Notre Dame, how special that university is, and maybe some of your highlights from.
Yeah. So, I chose Notre Dame on the strength of Urban Meyer. Really, I didn't really know much about Notre Dame. I didn't follow. I was never a lifelong fan of Notre Dame. Obviously, growing up here in Michigan, um, but Urban Meyer kind of sold me a dream, and I chose Notre Dame. He was the receiver coach then. It was an amazing recruiter. Sold me a dream of being Rocket Ismail at Notre Dame and catching a whole bunch of balls. Obviously, that didn't happen. Um, not his fault. It wasn't his fault. He wasn't the head coach, but I'm not going to get into that. But we didn't pass the ball as much as I would have liked. But we had some success. We went to two bowl games, played in the Gator Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl, and was able to catch some balls my senior year. I got hurt. I missed like 5 games my junior year, so that hurt me. But senior year we caught some balls. I led the team with 37 receptions. So that tells you how much we were passing the ball when I led with 37 grabs. But my time at Notre Dame, obviously Notre Dame, the tradition and running out that tunnel, as you mentioned, was amazing. Amazing. People are diehard Notre Dame fans. You either love us or hate us. And it was a great experience. And was able to parlay that into playing in the NFL and being drafted by the Ravens. But my time at Notre Dame, I grew up. I had my son my senior year, my oldest son, and so it was a period that I am fond of and got my degree, and so I'm very fond of my time at Notre Dame.
And Javin, were there other schools that you considered? Was it Notre Dame all the way, or were you close to going to a different school at that time?
Yes, to tell you the truth, I was a night's sleep from going to, and this is surprise to be a little surprised, but North Carolina, University of North Carolina. I fell in love with Chapel Hill. This is the period when Dre Bly was there, Jeff Saturday was there. You see him on TV, and so they had a great year in '97, I believe it was. They played in a big bowl game, and I just love North Carolina, man. And I was about to go there. I love North Carolina because of Michael Jordan, but I was obviously played football and try to play both there. And I was a night sleep from going there. But the coach left. Mac Brown left, and I think they hired Torbush, I think. And I didn't know enough about him, and I was like, let me go to Notre Dame. But I had a bunch of schools. I had Michigan State, I had Penn State, Florida State, and I think that was it. My last 5 schools that I was choosing from.
So what was North Carolina's basketball team like then? Because that mid-'90s, they were really good, right?
Oh yeah, they were tough. I think that was around the time Vince Carter, right there when I was in high school. Vince Carter and Rasheed Wallace. I went to a basketball game on my visit, and so that kind of got me into it as well. And then they had some guys. I don't know if you remember Ronald Curry and Julius. You remember
Yeah, he
Julius
was
Peppers?
like player of the year in football and basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. So those guys would have been in my recruiting class, had I decided to go to North Carolina. But there's one school that I wish I would have took a visit to, and that was Florida State, because Florida State had Peter Warwick then, and Lavernius Coles and those guys, and I just didn't take a visit. I didn't want to go that far down south. But as I, being an adult and being older, like I wish I would have did that. But it is what it is. I had a great time at Notre Dame.
Javin, I played against Peter Warwick in the Arena League, and I kind of brag about the fact that I had a better game, but he beat us 70-13. I don't talk about that very much.
Peter Warwick, man, he's got to be probably top 10 receivers of all time in college football. He's got to be. I mean, he had a great career in college.
Oh yeah, he was phenomenal. Javin, you talked a little bit about the NFL. So in 2002, you're a 6th-round draft pick, and you had a really good rookie season. As a matter of fact, you had multiple starts, you scored multiple touchdowns. But one touchdown I want to talk to you about is a 99-yard kick return you had against the Jets. Can you just talk to me a little bit about that kick return, what you remember about it, some of your emotions, and a little bit about your time in the NFL for the Ravens and the 49ers?
Yeah, that was, the kick return was during my rookie year, and obviously, playing on special teams, you want to make an impact, and then me being a 6th-round draft pick, I would have to kind of make my impact on special teams to start, and the team had a lot of confidence in me and put me back there, and I was able to bring it back, and that was an exciting time. My family was there. It was my first big play in the NFL, and I really felt that I belonged. I had a lot of confidence going in. I thought I was better than a 6th-round draft pick. I mean, I knew I was, but I just didn't have the stats at Notre Dame to warrant that, being a higher pick. So I just tried to do my best and make my way on kick return and punt return, and then also on offense. And I think I was able to do that my rookie year. And my time in the NFL was amazing. I think, the first, preseason game was a night game. And, I saw Ray Lewis. He did his dance. They turned the lights out. You got smoke coming out and fireworks. I was like, this is the NFL, and it was amazing, and it kind of set in. And then you just get ready to play. The adrenaline was flowing, and it was an exciting time. And And I look back at my time in the NFL, although it was short. I have a lot of memories, a lot of good friends, and I'm currently working with the NFL, NFLPA and the trust right now. So it's just staying connected to the league and staying connected to guys is a passion of mine.
And Javin, what was the bigger leap? Was it going from high school to college, Notre Dame, or Notre Dame to the NFL? What was more of a jaw drop?
No question, high school to college. Um, I, I I didn't know. I barely knew what cover two was going into college, man. I was just running around making
Your
catches and being
dad would
athletic.
want that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I didn't know coverages, and I had to spend a lot of time with Urban Meyer, with him being on me and studying and watching film. I didn't know much as a rookie. I was even as a freshman, and I was able to play as a freshman. Like I think my sixth game, but it took a lot to get there. I didn't know anything, and so definitely the leap from high school to college was the most challenging.
Well, Javin, and you talked a little bit about trust captain. You're currently working with the NFL, and you are a trust captain. So you're working with former NFL players and kind of helping them a little bit with life after football. Can you talk to me a little bit about the role of trust captain, kind of what that entails, and how'd you get involved with the program?
Absolutely. So I got involved. I went to a Ravens entrepreneurship summit. I was, thinking about, opening a business, and it was a outreach specialist there, Shania Richburg, who thought I would be a great fit for the role, and I interviewed and, became a trust captain in, 2 years ago. 2 years ago in August. And so, what we do is just try to help, former NFL players transition away from the league, giving them all the support and benefits and resources they need to move past the league, because it's definitely a challenge, right? You have the situations where the identity crisis on, what am I going to do in my next phase of life? Who am I? And so we try to help make that transition easier. We have a lot of resources for guys. You go back to school. We have entrepreneurship um, um, summits for former players, and it's just a lot of things that we have that guys need to take use of, and we try to give them all the support they need to move forward.
Well, Javin, that's absolutely phenomenal. You got to be the busiest parent that I've ever met. Your son Jaden is a top 100 player in the NBA. He plays for the Pistons. Your son Jordan is the best high school basketball player in the state of Virginia. You are all over the place. Can you just talk about Jaden and Jordan, and talk to me a little bit about how many frequent flyer miles are you getting over the course of the year following those guys in Detroit and Virginia?
Yeah. They definitely keep me on my toes. I'm moving around a lot, but I feel extremely blessed that the kids are having the success that they are having. Jaden started it off, and he's hurt right now, but he's gonna come back probably end of this month or early December. But following them around and just being a father to them, and trying to be a support to them and whatever they do is what I'm here for. And so I'm extremely proud of the success that they're having, and I'm just trying to keep up with them, as you mentioned.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I feel like I just have to talk about this a little bit. We had the opportunity to play a couple times in high school. And there was a game that we played, which was our senior year, and it was at Detroit Country Day. And we're up 6 points with about 50 seconds left in the game. And literally everybody knows in the stadium that they're going to throw the football to you. I think you had 180 yards and 2 touchdowns already in the game. So we take our best corner and our best safety and say, whatever you do, don't let Javin run past you. What do? You run past him, score the 60-yard touchdown, and if you don't miss an extra point, you guys win that game. We end up winning in overtime. But I remember what my coach said. My coach said, you know what? We're going to see that guy playing in the NFL. That was the first time I had ever been in a high school football game where I was confident that I had just seen an NFL football player.
Oh man, I appreciate that. I'm telling you what. Whatever your coach was saying, our coach was saying about you. Because, I mean, we had to stop you. I mean, I think you had 220 yards against us every time we played. I think 3 years in a row, you had probably over at least 180. to 200 yards against us, and so we had to stop you, man. That was our challenge. But I appreciate you saying that, man. Junior year you beat us pretty bad, but senior year we knew what we had to do, and like you said, it came down to an extra point that we missed. But it was a great game. You guys always were super competitive, and I love playing you guys.
Well, Javin, I appreciate you being on the show so much, taking time out to speak to us, and nothing but the absolute best of luck.
No, man, same to you. It was a pleasure talking to you, man. We'll keep in touch. Thank you for having me on.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you, Javin.
Thank you so much, Javin.
All right,
Take care.
guys, take care.